Hey guys, Karen here. Working my way back to crafting. That's, 2015 was sort of hell for me, and I think it's the worst year I've even had in my life. Even with the colon cancer back in, 2012. That's saying a lot right there. But anyway, I'm trying to get back into my crafting. And these pots, more or less, they came with the house. They were here when I bought the house, and they're going to be, I'm going to transplant. I got like 5 African violets that I need to transplant. So that's what they look like. They've been outside. They were outside. I don't know how long they sat outside, but they were awful, dirty and stuff. I even soaked these in bleach water, and I still can't get all the stains, but the insides don't bother me. And my African violets will be sitting outside under the carport this summer, so they can get as much, dapple light as they need and stuff. But in the wintertime, they will be in front of my big windows. So I wanted the pots to look nice for in the house, so I thought I'll just paint them. And that's what I did. I used chalk paint that I got at Walmart. I don't know where my blue is. My blue's over there. The blue is Pool. This color here, it's called Pool. And then I used their varnish to cover them. It covers very well. I have a couple more pots that I intend to paint. I like the blue better than the brown, but I thought they go good together. But I have more. I'm going to have more in the blue than I will the brown. And but they covered this. I didn't gesso at all. But I did use a paintbrush, and I think next time I'm going to get one of those little sponge rollers and try. This took 2 coats and it was fine. But this one, I don't know what happened to this one. This one sort of went wonky on me. I did gesso it, and that's the only thing that I can think of is something with the gesso. I don't know if it's interacting with that plastic or what, but I don't know if you can see that or not. But it almost looked like I did a crackle on it. It's like it started to bubble. You can see where it's bubbled up, and I'm not sure why. It was like I had some kind of glue or something on my brush, and I know for a fact I didn't, because I used the same brush to paint this with. So I don't know why it reacted like that. And the only thing I can think of is that's different is, the gesso, because I painted these two. I gessoed this just because the color, as you can see here, it's so light colored, and I thought, man, I'm gonna have to dump a bunch of paint on to cover the speckleness of the plastic. So I gessoed it, and I really wish I wouldn't have now, because this one, you can tell, I don't know if you can see through it. I can see through it holding up to the light. And it may take 3 coats, and that's going to be fine, but this is not bubbling up. This is the first coat. Yeah, that's the first coat too. I'll see with the second coat how it reacts with the second coat. This didn't start to bubble like that until the second coat, so I don't know what's going on there, but it's just how it's going to have to be. I may take I can't. I've already varnished this one. I may still take a fine sandpaper to it if it's going to bother me that much, but so far it is what it is. And then on these, these have had their second coat of varnish, and it laid down, but there's still, I can tell my brush marks, and I even tried to go back and just feather it out, but I can still see the brush marks, and I didn't leave it like that, where it's so thick. Lady, get out. Come on, bug. Come on, Bug Bug. Come on. Back up. Back up. There you go. Lady. Go on. You're just being nosy because Mommy's talking. Go on. Go. Go. Lady, now. Good girl. But I don't think this would have happened if I would have had the sponge roller. It would have feathered it out a whole lot better. So, I would advise, if you're going to paint on plastic like this, to use a sponge roller. Or at least that's what I'm going to try, because I don't like the feather marking, because this varnish, when I do it on boxes, and I've used it on, you know, stuff that I've painted, it doesn't leave these marks. It lays down really nice, and it's matte and everything. But on the plastic, it did. So I'm just thinking that I just didn't have the right tools as far as that goes, which is fine. The video though is, I didn't paint the tops because I want to do something. I thought, you know, because they are going to be in the house for winter and everything, I just thought I'd spiffy them up a little bit, and I thought I would put some lace around it. So, and I've narrowed it down. This is what I had in my own stash, and I've had it. I've had it for a while. I've not had a chance to use it. And I found this in a thrift store, and I like it. It's oh, I can't think of what that's called, but it is one of my favorite kinds of laces. I like it's cotton. You know, and has the design holes or whatever. And then this is my absolute favorite lace that I've ever had so far. That it's is it Offray? Offray brand, that was our Walmart carried it. But they don't carry lace no more, so I actually have a couple rolls left of this, and it doesn't get used very often. Matter of fact, I used it on somebody's wedding canvas that I did for them. But this being so brown, I knew I wouldn't want it in white, so I would have to take one of my Lindsay spray or distress things and recover it. I thought I wanted a dangle, you know, but I don't. Okay, this is the finished side, I can tell that. Oh, I'm liking this a lot better. I like that a lot better. It's already a beige color, or it might be a light tan, I'm not sure. I'm assuming it's beige. And with that brown, that just looks so country, don't it? And anybody that knows me, I'm very country. I like that. I should have enough for 2 pots. Let's see. So, let me make sure that's the right side. Nope. This is the finished side. So let's see. I need to know I got enough for both my brown pots, because I did want to have a matching lace for them. Okay, I can't hold that. I know that. So anyway, Joe and I went our separate way after 26 years last year. Actually, Joe went to work one day. Forgot to tell me he was never coming back, is what happened. Which is a good thing, because things were getting very strange, and it took me a little bit. At first I actually really wondered at first if the man had a tumor. in his head. And, but he didn't. It was drugs. It still is drugs. I tried to pull him back, and I couldn't. Drugs became more important to him than anything else. As far as I know, drugs are still more important to him than anything else. But he made sure he made my life a living hell before he left. That's for damn sure. Laptops were thrown across the room up against my wall. A temper, a very, very bad, scary temper. I mean, he'd be sitting there and I'd be trying to figure out what he was saying. You know, it didn't make sense, and then I would get aggravated. You know, and that temper, it would come out so bad in him, because it got to where it was just always below the surface. That, okay, I need to go right there. He would actually grab his hair with his fist and start pulling his own hair. He would be so mad. And then he would storm out. That got scary. You know, that got scary. And some of the most, oh look, there's going to be enough, guys. Look at there. Some of the most hateful thing that comes from the person, you know. So that'd be enough for two. From the person you love, I'm going to use Koala Glue. We're going to try it. I need to finish it up. I don't plan on ever buying any more of this. It's the same as, to me, it's the same as Eileen's tacky glue. It's tacky glue, that's all I can say. And, I can't use it on my albums and stuff, though. It will warp paper if you're not careful. And, Eileen's tacky glue is just, it's cheaper. So, I don't see any reason putting out the extra money. But, what was I saying? Like, he'd want to go out in the boat and stuff. I didn't want to be that far from land, to be honest, with how he was acting. And, be stuck with him out somewhere in the middle of the water, that's for damn sure. But I know at one point he said, and the friends, you know, the friends, I don't hang around with them kind of people. And I knew straight out they were drug users. I don't hang around with them. I don't want to hang around with them. I don't associate with people like that. I can't trust people like that. And, you know, he kept bringing this one couple around. And it's like, I don't want nothing to do with them. You know, I really don't. And, crap. No, that's right. One time he told me, you know, if you're not going to get out and have fun in life, which means his fun, his way, do everything his way, you might as well be dead. That cut me to the quick. Especially after everything I've been through in 2012. You know how close you come to something, you know, when you're fighting back from stage 4 colon cancer and you have to do, you know, 6 months of chemo. They take almost half your colon. It's just not something you say to somebody you love. It's not something that you should say to somebody that you would hate. You know, but stuff like this would fly out of his mouth when he wasn't getting his own way. And I mean, it got bad. It really did. It just got bad. And those that have been with me know, you know, bills wasn't getting paid, things were getting turned off, you know. The phone and electric would all of a sudden go. The electric bill I was starting to worry about. You know, wouldn't get, you know, am I going to be sitting here without electric? You know, and it's not that I didn't pitch in. It's not. I had a mortgage to pay. You know, I was paying the mortgage. I paid insurance on every vehicle, plus the house insurance, plus food and stuff, dog food. I would keep money back just to make sure that the dogs would have food at the end of the month, because it got to the point I couldn't trust him. I could not depend on him at all. So that's why last year, you know, early part of the year and halfway through the middle, you know, all of a sudden I would disappear because I didn't have no TV, phone, or internet. And that's all he had to pay. And he couldn't even do that. But yet he was leaving at 6 o'clock in the morning and coming home 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. Working. I'm working. How can somebody work that many hours and be broke? You know? It isn't possible. And, you know, and then, you know, I'm getting older, I'm getting slower. You know, and then when I got the house is mine, it's always been mine, it's on my money, it's on my credit. Mine. I did that all on my own. And, for some reason, had to have a different car. Had to. I had an Expedition. And he said it was fixing to throw a rod. I never heard it. If it was, I never heard it. Usually when a car's going to explode, you can tell that. But I never heard it. And he come home one day. Now he got this on his own. Took my car. Traded it for an Explorer. And I'm thinking, you better be making the payments, dude, because I can't. I mean, there's literally, the money is not there for me to do it. I don't get a whole lot of money. And my money isn't renewable, it's monthly, you know, so I have to make do for the entire month. And I'd tell him that something was needed for the house. You know, I didn't have grocery money or something that week. He don't have it either. He's making payments, he's paying bills. Joe left in October. Let me tell you something. When he left, I went to the bank and said, because that's one thing he did do when he got the car and stuff, he made sure that it was put in my name. And I said, you know, he's gone. He's never coming back. That's not an option for him anymore. He said, well, it's in your name. You know, pay it off and it's yours. Well, the thing is that Joe has had my car. He had the car all year. I mean, I was literally stuck a half hour from town, out in the country, because his van wouldn't run right. So he took my car, and he worked out of it. And he worked out of it, and he worked out of it. He worked out of it so much that, where's my red scissors? He more or less blew the transmission up, and the transmission was going out. Because I live in the mountains, and he was hauling all those heavy tools and then running 70, 80 back up the mountain. And I know this because he was talking about it. You should see what that car would do. And I'm thinking, what are you doing? Well, he ruined the transmission is what he did. And I went to the bank and talked to them. That's when I found out that he hadn't been making no payments. That woman told me more or less that that car should have been repoed a while ago, a couple months back. He had not been making any payments. Tell me he was, but he hadn't, and my car should have been repoed. Yeah. I have no idea where all this money went to, guys. I really don't. The only thing I could think of is that there's a meth dealer out there that is very, very rich. That's the only thing I can think of. Very rich. So, he pulled a bunch of crap. That's all I can say. He wasn't very nice about it. And of course, you know, I'm sure in his little old mind, he ain't done a damn thing wrong. I even had people come up to me that I didn't know. I didn't know these people. But they somehow were aware of me. They were in Joe's world. They sure as hell weren't in mine. Come up, pat me on the arm. Oh, would it be okay? What the hell are you talking about? And I had several people now. This flew all over me. I had several people come up and tell me, there's low-income apartments up there, Karen. You won't have to worry about a place to live. I was like, what are you talking about? Well, your house, you know, it'll go back. I was like, why will my house go back? Why would it even go back? And they're just looking at me. You know, then it dawned on me, I don't know what the hell he was telling these people. But they think that no, Karen paid for her own stuff. You know, that stuff was, you know, my car was paid for. You know, that was a bank loan. That was my bank loan. You know, I sat down and I figured it out. All the cars and stuff that I've had, they've all been mine. I paid for it through a bank loan or something else, but I paid for it. So, he left, and he made sure when the day he left now, this is how bad he was at that point. The day he left, he called me up. He said, Kenny's been hurt. This is one of the guys he had helping him. And, meet me at the hospital. I've got to go back to work. I've got to get this job done. Someone needs to be here with him. So here I go rushing town. Get up there. He said, I've got to get back on the job. He said, take Kenny where he needs to go. He said, I don't know how long you're going to be here, Karen. He said, but he thought he had cut his finger with one of the saws straight to the bone. So I go in there and I wait. And, no. And, he does need stitches, but it didn't go to the bone. He just got out of x-rays. Joe went his own way. And so, sat there with Kenny till they got done with him. Kenny got out of there. And he was hungry. So I take him to drive through and get him a sandwich. And then, he needed his medicine. They gave him pain pills and antibiotics. Of course, didn't have no money for that. Did not have no money for that. So, I go and I pay for this money out of my pocket. Okay? And then all of a sudden Joe and the other helper need something to eat. So here we go back to McDonald's. Kenny wants more, so I get more. You know. I put out quite a bit of money that day, and my money is limited. But I'm thinking Joe will give it back to me so I can get groceries and stuff. Joe never came back. Kenny wanted to go back out to the job. So I drove all the way out there. And that was an hour's ride to get him out there and then back. And Butthead even kissed me. Told me he loved me. See me later. Never saw him again. Never saw him again. And then just left me, you know, with everything to take care of and pay. And I was worried about how it was going, because he had lights on all over the place. I mean, it was nothing for our electric bill to run $150 and up. And it should never be that high. And, well, here's sat a van that he just towed from the old house because he was going to put an engine in it. He was going to rebuild an engine, put in that. And then the blue one was still sitting here. And I thought, those are mine. I paid cash out of pocket for old blue. That's what we called that old blue van. I paid cash out of pocket for that out of my stuff. For Joe's work van. And, I sold it. I sold that and the other one too that was sitting here with no engine in it. Or an engine to be rebuilt. Because I ended up trading my old Explorer before I had the Expedition. I bought and paid for that Explorer. So this van that's been sitting for a couple of years, that's mine too. Because that used my stuff to get it. I sold them both to a junk dealer to pay the electric and stuff that month. And you know, of course I get a phone call. If you'd have took it to so-and-so, they'd have gave you a better deal. You know, I said, I don't care. Well, I'm getting it back. I don't care either. My electric bills and stuff that you racked up are paid. I don't care. You get it back. You act like I did something to spite you. I did something to take care of myself. That's what I've done. And that's what I did. And that's what I've been doing. And it's just taken me a little while to come back from everything. You know? 26 years of your life with somebody. And drugs is more important. Oh well. That's your loss, dude, because I'm moving on with life. In my nice home. And you're still sleeping in your van. So, more power to you, buddy. You know, I'm just glad I had some really good friends. Noodle, who was one of them. My mom, my best friend, my brothers, you know. Which my best friend, she's the only one that's local. My mom and them live out of state, several states away, as a matter of fact. But my mom was there for me. I needed her, and she was there. She came right up. She flew up here and helped me. Joe left this place so stinking junked up. I mean, the backyard. Grass is dead. My grass is still dead in my backyard and my side yard where he had it. It literally took him 6 months to junk my place up. You couldn't even get on the carport. I mean, he had stuff. He was just dismantling stuff. I don't know what he was doing. You know, I got to talk to my brother and sister-in-law, and my one sister-in-law, she's, you know, had to deal with people. She knew exactly. I talked to a couple people. I said, the smell, I don't know what the smell is. They said, Karen, that's meth. And then my sister-in-law knew when I started telling her some of this stuff. She's like, Karen, that's meth. It seems like you got to keep your hands busy or something. He would, you know, there was he had brought one of them treadmills. He thought he'd get the dogs on it. For some reason, exercise them. Saw it on a video or something, I guess. And I didn't want it here. It wasn't getting used. I didn't even want it brought over from the other house. I wanted it taken to the thing. And it was just taking up closet space. It was one of them that fold up, you know, stand up. But boy, it took up a lot of space still. And I didn't want it. So one day he come home with a trailer. I told him, I said, let's get that out. So we got it out. I went on to bed later on. Don't you know, by morning, he wasn't sleeping. He never slept. It was creepy. He had dismantled that whole treadmill. I mean, dismantled it. The whole thing. I mean, he even took parts of the motor apart and stuff. I mean, and then it just got piled up on the carport. That's what he did. He'd take things apart and just pile it. There was one path you could walk through on my carport. It was, I was so aggravated. So aggravated that he would trash my home up like that. I mean, I was so aggravated. Because at this point, I'm not thinking, this is my place. This is my home. So, when people started coming up saying, you can, I thought, I don't know what that man's telling you, but this is my place, and it's always been my place. And I think that I'm still here. Proving to some people what a bullshitter he was. I'm taking care of my business. There might not be much left. There might not be. But my bills are paid, and they're paid on time. I don't owe nobody anything. I do have food in my house. My dogs are fed. There might not be much money for crafts, for gas running back and forth. I mean, extra stuff that I would have been able to do before. But that's okay, because I got what I need. That's all. I got what I need. And I have this beautiful home to show for it. And, hey, if you got to do without, you got to do without. That's just how I see it, And I don't mind to do without, because the way I see it, I'm doing with. Because, you got to pay rent somewhere. You've got to pay a mortgage somewhere unless you have your home paid off. So I'd rather be invested in myself and have a home paid off 15 years from now than still paying rent 20 years from now, So to me, it's, I'm fine. I'm going to be just fine. And maybe someday there'll be somebody in my life, and maybe not. But, I'm fine, just getting back into a routine and stuff like that. Nobody telling you what to do is a plus. You can make friends with people, and that's somebody in your ear going, oh, I don't know about them. Oh, I don't like them. They can't be trusted. She's a whore. Okay. I mean, just a bunch of crap that, I was so blind to it. I broke down in front of my mom when she was here. I just started crying, and I told her, I said, I feel like a big fool, because you start noticing things, and it's like, how could I not see it? I'm not stupid. How could I have been so freaking blind to this, to what he was doing? I mean, he was separating me from people. I did not see any of it coming, until it was too late. And, my mom, she said, Karen, you're not a fool. She said, you trusted him. And she said, there's nothing wrong with trusting those you love. So, but this old girl, kicking strong and hard, and I'm happy. I mean, I am so happy. Once in a while it may get a little bit lonely. I just call somebody. But I am happy, I get to do what I want. I don't have to worry about someone in my ear. And, I went and got baptized this early spring and everything. And it's just helped me being closer to God and stuff. And I'm glad I did. I don't got somebody, at one point it was so bad, Joe used to tell me that my own mom hated me. It's like, don't go there. That is so stupid. Just don't, me and my mom, we can be so much alike that we clash, and when we clash hard. And there may be times when my mom don't want to talk to me. But one thing I've never doubted is the love that my mom has for her children, including me. My mom has always loved me, and, I know she always will. But, he would do stuff, and I didn't realize what was going on, and that's my fault, I guess. So, oh, look. Should I cut that, guys? That's a little ripped right there. I didn't even notice that. I don't think it'd be a big deal. I think it would be worse if I cut it. We'll see, because now I can't even tell where it was at. Oh, right there. Wait a minute. Maybe I'll just glue it. But that hot mess is out of my life. So, you know, it's one of those, if you knew, you would have made other choices in life, but you don't know. So, and, you know, people said, you know, people told me all winter, oh my gosh, people told me all winter, Karen, he thinks he's coming back. He's planning on coming back. You better be careful. And I've actually had people tell me, Karen, you better be careful. You do not want him around the way he is now. Well, no, I don't want him around, period. And he will never come back to me. Never. The best I can do is pray for him and hope that he figures it out before it's too late. That's all I can wish for, you know. I mean, I got all the dogs, thank goodness. He didn't try and take Smokey. I would have fought him over Smoke. You know, animals don't need to be around that crap. That crap stinks to high hell. You know, I got up one morning and come out my bedroom door and it just slapped me in the face. Because either him or Kenny, sometime during the night or that morning before they left, smoked it in my bathroom. And you talk about so stinking mad. I was so stinking mad. And it was actually a couple days later that he was gone. Because I called him up. I said, I don't know what's going on. And he said, well, no one's doing. I said, somebody's done something. I said, because that's the same smell that I've smelled out in the building. But in the building, I mean, he's got oil that's sitting out in pans because when he works on any metal parts or anything, he coats them in that oil. And then there's kerosene for the heaters. And then there's gasoline. And then just other solvents and stuff out there. And I could never put my finger on it, what that awful smell was. It's a sick, sweetening smell. But when I smelt it in that bathroom, the hallway that day, I knew right then. And I was like, this better never, you know, I'm done. That's it. Well, I guess he figured out he can't hide it or anything anymore. Well, he thinks he's hiding everything. He thinks he's got it together. Well, he's lost his job. I mean, he's lost everything. Everything. So, I don't feel sorry for him. He's a grown-ass adult. He knew better when he started. You know, I mean, it's hard not to know. I mean, unless you're just a tween and have no idea what drugs are, have never been around them, have never heard about them, you know, that's the only way I could see that somebody nowadays could get, you know, otherwise you start doing stuff like that, you do it at your own risk. You know you're just not going to do it and walk away. Especially if you keep going back, oh, I can handle it. Can't nobody handle that stuff. Can't nobody. He thinks he is because he's not picking at himself. Buddy, you're not. Everybody noticed. Everybody noticed. But, oh well, I didn't mean to go on a ramble like that. But anyway, it's why I've been gone. It's just sort of been a hard, you know, more mental than anything. And, but I had some good friends, you know. Good family, definitely good family. My mom, I mean, she dropped everything for me and come back up here to Tennessee to help me, you know, help me get stuff, to weed through stuff, what was trash and what was not. I mean, it was awful. It was just awful. But, you know, and Amanda, Scrimpy Mama, you know, if I needed someone to talk to, she was right there. And everybody knows how busy Amanda is. I mean, Amanda has, you know, Amanda still has a young family. You know, even though some of her children may be grown, she still has a young family to take care of. And, you know, her lace shop, you know, I mean, she's a busy lady. And she would still find time. If I needed someone to talk to, she would absolutely find time, you know, for me and just listen. You know, you don't want to dump your burdens on everybody all the time. Poor Dee and Diana and my mom, I mean, they got the biggest of it. And they still love me and are still around. But, you know, I cherish, you know, Amanda and Cranky. She was there a couple times. And when I couldn't sleep at night. And talked to her a little bit. And her with her own problems, you know. And you really appreciate you just see who loves you and who doesn't, and you appreciate that so much, because you have your world rocked. Your world's rocked one way or another. I mean, you just appreciate those that stand behind you. They stand beside you. There's may even be days where that's the only thing that's holding you up. And it helps you to move on. It makes you stronger. It helps you to move on. It always makes you stronger and helps you to move on when you know that you have good, decent people that are standing behind you. If all they can do is smile at you with love in their eyes. Sometimes that's all you need to take that next step. And just go on, push through it. They say, I believe, and I've always believed in this for years, God will never give you more than you can handle, and you just need to find a way to handle it. He's expecting you to take care of it, The ones you love are expecting you to handle it and take care of it. And so that's what I'm trying to do. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job. Everybody else might think I'm a wreck. I don't know, but I think I'm doing a pretty good job. Anyway, I got a rack last week, and I'm going to do that. I don't know if it'll be today. It might be tomorrow, but I promised myself until I filmed it, I could not touch it. I did open it and have a peek inside, but I couldn't play with any of it. I couldn't touch any of it. So, this is my flower pots, and I think they turned out pretty nifty. Now I got to find something to do with the blue ones if I want to, what kind of lace I want to do with the blue ones. So they got to be painted again and covered, sealed up. And I think I'm going to, actually, this one came from my best friend, and she's actually looking pretty good compared to what she was. I don't know what happened to it, but look, and she's even got, see the new buds coming out down the bottom, and what do you want to call them? The limbs are actually, I mean, they all about look like that. I don't know what she did to it. What she do? I had been having a hard time myself finding African violets until last year when Mom was in and we went to Lowe's, So like, she gave me that one just a couple weeks ago, and like these are mine, and this one actually has two. I'm going to separate it. I don't know why it did that, but I'm glad it did. So I actually got more because African violets are my favorite house plant, and so, but it's definitely, I think that's, I'm not sure if that's like starting to mold or what, but it's got to be changed. These have got to come out. And then my other friend, she gave me this one last week. Is that not adorable? I love aloes. I mean, I will break off an aloe because I'm always burning myself. And I had a huge one, but it got killed when I was sick. It just, Joe didn't have to take care of it, and it just died out. It got, I think, if I remember right, I think it got left out. I'm not sure, in the winter. But it was huge. I mean, it was huge. I had it in one of them big planters, and the things on it were like that thick. It was huge. I wish I still had that baby. But my friend, she has a big one, and this is actually one of the babies. That's why it's curled like this, because it was hanging on the side of the pot. So I'm assuming, it had to conform to how the shape of the pot was to how it was hanging. So by the end of the summer, I look for these to be a lot thicker. And but it is so unique how I've never seen one curl like this, and I just love it. These are, I can tell, you can tell by how thin they are in places. It's from it being an offshoot, and it's just, it didn't get the proper water that it needed. That's what will dry one out if it doesn't have enough water. So she potted this up for me. I am so stinking happy with it. It's just unique and different, like me. That's what it is. And she's going to live outside this summer too. So, yeah, I love my flowers. Flowers make me happy. They really do. So, anyway, I'm off, guys. I'm going to go... I'm going to go transplant this poor thing. It needs a new home. Anyway, talk to you later, guys. Bye. Love y'all.